This is a quick video on setting up a forward-only conversion with a T-Maxx 2.5 that has forward and reverse without having to buy the forward-only gear. You can actually use the parts that's already in the transmission to set this up. And what we're looking at right here, this is the actual mechanism that makes it go forward and reverse. So here's the little shifter arm that when the servo pulls it forward, then it attaches to this forward gear. This gear is spinning backwards. So when this shifter pushes it to this gear, this is what makes it go backwards. So what we have is a shaft. There's actually a little tiny washer right there. And if you look at this reverse gear, there's that little arm that kind of slings out. When it spins fast enough, it'll sling out and catch this little collar right here. And that's what this collar is actually what is attached to your tires. So what we're going to do is permanently lock in this front right here. This same piece on the forward gear, we're going to lock this in to where it will not go out of first forward gear. So right now it's already done. I'm going to pull this apart and show you how to make this happen. Some of the pros and cons. The pros is that, you have a forward only. You don't have to worry about it bucking anymore. It'll be always in first gear and you won't be bucking. The bucking is this actual piece slinging out in and out over and over. One of the cons that I don't like is on the purchase forward only conversion, it gets rid of all this weight. And then also, I don't think that this piece right here is balanced. So from an engineering standpoint, this right here, there's more weight on this side of the gear than there is on this side of the gear. So I'm going to show you how to lock that in on the forward gear. Here are the two gears. This forward gear has a kind of a gold tint to the leg that kicks out. The reverse has a black. I've already got the forward punched out. What you want to do is take your punch and prop it on a piece of wood or something else and punch that out, but do it on the one that has the gold. You want to punch that out. It'll come out the other side, and that'll allow you to remove that little leg that kicks out. And then once you get it out, you're also going to push out right there is where the spring and the pin and the screw that basically applies pressure. So yeah, right there, punch that out, then remove that, and then also the little pin that presses on this. Once you get it all removed, you'll end up with something that looks something like that. Look like that. Now, the part you're going to need to make this work is a 7/64 drill bit. So what we want to do is, see, that's where the old spring used to come up. You're going to come out to the other side and see I've drilled a hole. I drilled that hole at an angle, so it's at an angle about like that. And the reason why we're going to do that is because instead of the spring holding this down, we want to move the spring to the other side and have it hold it up permanently. That's the angle. And I'll pull a measurement and see exactly how deep, but it's only deep enough to get the spring to just rest without moving. So let me get a measurement on that. And my hole is about 2 millimeters deep. Like I say, just enough to seat that spring. I'm gonna go ahead and seat the spring in there. And there it is with the spring seated. I just used a little flathead screwdriver and just pressed it down in the hole. If the 7/64 bit isn't big enough, you can kind of move it around a little bit. You want this just big enough to fit the spring in and deep enough to where it doesn't move. So like 2 millimeters. Now the spring is on the opposite side. Instead of it holding the spring down, it's going to hold the spring up. I'm gonna get this put back together. So the spring is holding the leg up. I'm gonna line up these two holes, get my punch, and push that back in. There we go. All right, I got it started. Popped it one good time. It's going through. You kind of got to finagle with it to get it back in, but the main thing is the spring is there, seated in 2 millimeters, and pushing up on the leg. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and knock this back flush. And this is it, flush. So now the spring is pressing up, permanently engaged. I'm gonna stick this back in the collar. All right, let's stick it back in there. Just gonna, there it is. And if this is totally reversible, because you can just line that up, punch it back out, and go back to normal. So this isn't a permanent fix. I'm gonna kind of put this shaft back together, that back through the middle, put the reverse back on, the washer. And another con of this is you have to leave, well, you don't have to, but I left this on because I didn't have the screws to plug up the transmission. So you'll have to put this all back together. You won't get to remove this and the reverse gear that sits at the bottom of the trans. So just put everything back together. You don't lose the weight, but you will lose the bucking. And there it is, all back together again with this forward gear permanently locked out because that leg is kicked out. So it's not going to physically shift back. I mean, you can't separate these two. So you have the rod with the long end on this side, spacer, forward gear with the spring permanently pressing out on engagement, the collar, the shifter, reverse. It's just going to hang out down here and be a spacer, and this washer. And then you put this back in the way it came out. Don't hook up the reverse servo, just remove the linkage and remove the servo. And now you have forward only. And I've put about 2 gallons through it like this. This is what it looks like after 2 gallons. It's doing pretty good.